Welcome, FNS57 here. Once again, I'm on my Xbox Series X, bringing you another achievement guide for the Halo Infinite Winter Update. This is the co-op and mission replay update. Today's guide will be covering the Spire Stalker achievement. Kill 40 enemies with the Stalker rifle at the command spire. So, there's a couple of things with this achievement. It's a little easier to unlock than some of the other winter update achievements, but it is still buggy. So again, I recommend don't use the quick resume feature and make sure that you've launched the game fresh before attempting the achievement. It can be done on any difficulty. It can be done on solo or co-op. However, the enemies killed only count for the player that gets the actual kill. In other words, if you are playing this in two-player co-op, then both players will need to get 40 kills apiece with the Stalker rifle in the command spire in order for both players to unlock this 20 gamer score achievement. So, specifically, either play through till you get to the mission command spire, or go ahead and select the command spire and select mission options, replay mission. Prior to loading in, if you are replaying the mission, then you can pick up a Stalker rifle, or I can confirm that the Stalker rifle Ultra works for this achievement. There is also several different Stalker rifles in the mission, so you can pick one up there if you don't have one. For difficulty, I recommend keeping it on easy. There's really no reason to do anything harder and make this more annoying than it has to be. And you can also use the wonderful bandana skull that gives you infinite ammo. So go ahead and start that. Some people have had problems with certain achievements unlocking with the bandana skull on. Primarily, like Mix Things Up is one of the most buggy as far as the achievements. I have a guide for that, though. But other than that achievement, all of the achievements can be unlocked, for the most part, with the bandana skull. Just make sure that you follow my steps. Do not use the quick resume feature. And if you can, avoid just leaving the game on for an incredibly long period of time. So, try to do that fresh restart. Once you start the mission, you're going to be forced to go up this long elevator. You get to a second elevator relatively early on, and then you will be able to pick up a Stalker rifle. So, personal preference at the end of the day, how you want to go about this. I recommend the mission replay function because it allows us to get a few kills with a Stalker rifle if we bring one in ahead of time. You're going to be engaging a few of these sentinels. I will say if you're using the Stalker Rifle Ultra and the regular Stalker Rifle, this way you have double the ammo count, it seems to be a little bit buggy with the kills counting. So it's like, I would say 40 kills with the one version of the Stalker Rifle. And of course the Stalker Rifle is a weapon that can overheat, but you can easily pick up a few kills here in the beginning on these sentinels. They're annoying on higher difficulty, but they're relatively easy on low difficulty. All skippable cutscenes, you're fine to skip. You don't have to watch any of those. So I'll show you where we can pick up a Stalker rifle at the point that we get to the second lift, but I will not be using the regular version of the Stalker rifle. It is entirely possible to actually get this achievement unlocked without using the bandana skull. Don't fall off of the platforms like I did, but outside of the annoying parkour on this mission, that'll take you a little bit. It's relatively simple and straightforward, especially if you're doing what I'm doing and just bringing in a Stalker rifle. Stalker rifle with the bandana skull, and all you have to do is keep killing enemies till the achievement unlocks. Easy, straightforward. If you're not bringing in a Stalker rifle, then that can be a bit more on the difficult side. Once you get up here, there's going to be a few more sentinels that you can engage. The Stalker rifle is an extremely accurate weapon, so you can use that to your advantage or to your disadvantage. But there's going to be a good number of sentinels, usually armed with the electric sniper rifle. you can pick up probably about, I believe, 5 kills or so up here before you actually run out of enemies. And then you would be looking for ammo crates once you picked up a regular Stalker rifle. So the Stalker rifle doesn't get enough ammunition to actually get all 40 kills with it with one Stalker rifle without the bandana skull. But as long as you've picked up either hard light ammo crates, you have the bandana skull, or you pick up another Stalker rifle, it's entirely possible to go ahead and get the achievement. Once you grab the power seed, you'll have the opportunity to kill a few more enemies before you get to the second lift. And then once you get to the second lift, this is where you'll start to get more weapons. So right here is your very first opportunity to get a Stalker rifle. And you'll see I'm just gonna pick up the regular one. So this is the regular Stalker rifle, and then this is the Stalker rifle Ultra. I'll be getting the remainder of my kills with the Stalker rifle Ultra because I started with that weapon.
And yes, before you say it, I know it.
So you're gonna have a few grunts and stuff here that you can eliminate, and we'll just kind of, the best thing is take your time. There's gonna be jackals and whatnot. Since this is a weapon that can overheat, it's a good idea to kind of fire in bursts and then cool the weapon down.
Potential to be dangerous, right?
If you get a headshot with the Stalker rifle, you can very easily dispatch most enemies with a single shot. So you could do that. Obviously, if you're trying to do this without the bandana skull, headshots are what you're going to really want. If you have your grapple upgraded, what you can do is grapple to an enemy to stun them and then just shoot them in the head. So something like those skimmers, they're really annoying. Sometimes they're hard to get a headshot on. I do believe melee kills with the Stalker rifle do not count from my testing, but go ahead and just annihilate the enemies up here. You'll have some raging brutes that'll charge you. Now these guys will be difficult to take down with the Stalker rifle. Even with the bandana skull, they do a lot of damage. So just keep that in mind. Depending on what strategy you're going with, you may actually wish to just kill these brutes. And with any other weapon, melee doesn't matter, but you can in fact kill them with the Stalker rifle. At the end of the day, it just comes down to whether or not you're using the bandana skull. If you're using the bandana skull, it doesn't really matter. If you're not using the bandana skull, you're going to have to prioritize targeting enemies that only have like an ammo requirement for kill of 1 or 2 shots. So that means like the shielded grunts, the Spec Ops grunts, you'll want to either drop their shields ahead of time, or you'll want to just melee them for the win. Same thing goes with jackals. You'll want to get them to drop their shield, which can be done by hitting them with the grapple and then shooting them in the face with the Stalker rifle. Again, entirely possible to do. It's really not difficult. Very, very straightforward. And the only time that you really have to micromanage your kills and your ammo is going to be if you don't use the bandana skull, or if you're playing in multiplayer co-op, where you're going to need each player to get 40 kills. But there's a whole bunch of weak little enemies in this first section. Some of the skimmers can be kind of annoying. Again, you can stun them with your grapple. You'll also have a elite here. Depending on the difficulty that you're playing on, he may be able to one-hit you with the energy sword. So keep that in mind. You might want to just kill him as quickly as possible with a regular weapon. As long as we get the 40 kills with the Stalker rifle or the Stalker rifle Ultra, it doesn't matter. Eventually you'll come into this next room, and it'll kind of start off as just no enemies. We'll progress through, and then we'll be in another room with more skimmers. There's like the upgraded skimmers that take about 2 headshots to kill. They're usually armed with like commando rifles or rocket launchers. It doesn't matter the enemy that we kill, and if you brought in a Stalker rifle, then at this point you would gain your achievement. If you don't see the achievement unlock, just simply go to the official club, go over to progress and down to the achievements, because sometimes the notifications don't pop up. So that's the achievement. Art looks pretty cool for Spire Stalker, and honestly, it's relatively easy to do. I believe in total there's something like 90 plus enemies in this area if you killed every single enemy in the game. So there's way more than enough enemies that you can easily get multiple players 40 plus kills. Once you start to enter these bigger rooms with more enemies, there are more banished weapon racks. Very important because you're going to need more ammunition if you're not using the bandana skull. But as I've demonstrated, the use of the bandana skull is not a problem, so there's really no reason not to do it. Most of the weapon racks will contain just regular banished weapons, but there are a couple of more pickup spots that you can get a Stalker rifle at. If you need to conserve ammo on like brutes, for instance, generally speaking, one melee is not necessarily enough to kill them. It can be depending on the difficulty, so just keep that in mind. But you should be fine targeting the grunts, especially targeting the grunts with headshots. It's relatively easy to do, and remember, you can always use down on the D-pad to spot where new weapon crates or ammo crates, enemies, etc. Like, all of that important stuff is located. So remember to use that to your advantage. And if you're trying to conserve ammo, just skip the raging brutes, and then you can continue through the level. I think there's a total, if I remember correctly, of like 3 spots that you can pick up a Stalker rifle. I'm not going to go through and show them all, but also keep in mind, pro tip, the enemies will chase you up the grav lift. So if you're trying to run from these guys and kill them with the Stalker rifle, that can be a difficult task. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. I'll do my absolute best to help you out, and I hope that you enjoyed the guide. If you did, do me a huge favor by smashing that like button. Maybe you could also consider giving the subscribe button a tickle so you never miss out on a new piece of content. And I'll leave you with just one last thing. Be very careful of these coils. The little coils can take credit for the kill away from the Stalker rifle. The same thing with a dying grunt dropping a plasma grenade, or even sometimes the grunt's methane tank explosion. So just keep that in mind. If you think you got 40 kills, but it doesn't actually give you the achievement, then you may have had one of those things happen. But fear not, because there's still plenty of enemies left in the level, and again, 1 or 2 headshots. Pretty much on most enemies, 1 headshot. I'm missing all of my shots though, so just shred them and go from there. Also, don't be confused by the electric shock rifles. There's plenty of shock rifles, but obviously we don't need the shock rifles. They're not going to help us for the achievement. So once you get the achievement done, you can either continue playing through the mission, help your friend out. You could also choose to restart the mission and give the co-op partner that you're playing with the Stalker rifle that you had at the beginning. There's multiple ways that you could do this. It's honestly, at the end of the day, personal preference. So I really hope the guide helped you out. If you have any questions, I'll be here to help you out. Till next time, my brothers and sisters, Legion, stay frosty. Just one last thing that I wanted to add, and I forgot to record earlier. If you're using the regular version of the Stalker rifle, by the time you get to this final boss battle, he will summon extra sentinels, so that's a few opportunities for kills for you. And the ammo type that you'll need is the plasma ammo type. Unfortunately, that ammo crate, sometimes it works for the Stalker Rifle Ultra, but other times it doesn't seem to replenish that ammo. So just as a heads up for anyone wondering about the ammo crates, that is where you get more ammo, and in total, in all my testing, I've only been able to actually get 2 spots not 3 spots for the regular Stalker rifle to spawn. Hope that helps.